And we are live. Here comes the intro.
You're listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Grow Clinton is a 501c6 nonprofit economic, community development, and tourism organization based in Clinton, Iowa. For more information, visit growclinton.com. Again, that's growclinton.com. Now, back to the show.
What's happening, everybody out there in podcast land? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Grow Clinton podcast. You love us. You know where to find us. All your major streaming applications that are out there, to include the Apple Store or Apple Podcasts. We're on Amazon, YouTube, Buzzsprout, Overcast, anything that you have where you listen to podcasts. Just search Grow Clinton Podcast and we will pop up. Grow Clinton is a nonprofit organization focused on community development, economic development, and tourism located in the great state of Iowa, right along the eastern side along the mighty Mississippi River. My name, as always, President and CEO of Grow Clinton, Andy Sokolovich, joined in the studio by Jenny Holmes. Jenny, what's happening?
We got a lot going on this week. It's exciting, and it's getting close to the holidays, so I'm super stoked.
Yeah, we do have a lot going on this week. It's a Monday for sure.
For sure.
For sure. Did you have a good weekend?
I really did. Put up Christmas lights, but you know what I'm going to say.
Steve put up Christmas lights.
Put up Christmas
You
lights.
observed
I didn't even do that.
and told him where to go with the Christmas lights.
How about you? How was your weekend?
It was good. Cleaned out the garage, which is always nice. And then
Yes.
we too did some Christmas decor.
Yes.
Haven't done the outside yet, but we're getting there.
Wait
My
for it
wife
to
took
get real cold.
well, she took a vacation day
Oh.
today. And of course, we had these like beautiful, about 4-foot wicker reindeer.
I love them.
Well, after a couple years, lights no worky. Every like third one is out. So, and you can't just take a string of lights and throw it over. It looks tacky. So, oh, she's getting some new ones. They should be delivered today. So I'm sure that'll be on my to-do list for this evening.
You know what I did Friday night?
What'd you do?
I went to a new place in town, Copper Mill.
Oh,
And
yeah.
dinner.
You're a late, like diner there. They've been open for a while.
I've been there before,
Oh,
but
you've
I
been-
love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
We love it. Old Gill's Ballroom,
Yep.
located on the west end of town, right by the Wild Rose Casino. Friends with all the ownership. They
Oh,
do
yeah.
a great job. They did something the other night called Silent Disco, Jenny. Have you done this?
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's when you throw on a headset and you have 3 different stations you can choose from, different variety of music, different genres. And it is completely silent when you do not have a headset on. So everybody's out there dancing and singing their worst lyrics that they're attempting to remember, but it's awesome. Hey, we got sponsors, Jenny.
I know.
Mic check. This is courtesy of Citizens First Bank, making your finances and our audio crystal clear. These new mics in the Grow Clinton podcast studio are proudly sponsored by the bank that is always in tune with our community. Find them at gocfb.bank. Banking as it should be with Citizens First Bank, member FDIC. Adcraft Printwear and Sully Sports. Sully's coming soon out there along Mill Creek, right there in the Lions Business Technology Park. I'm just going to call it Lions Business Park from
I
now
think
on.
that's easier.
Yeah, but Adcraft's been around since 1974. Over the years, they've grown from just a small company serving the Clinton, Iowa community to a cutting-edge operation that now serves teams and companies all over the United States. For all of your custom printwear needs, tchotchkes, whatever it is that you want to use to promote your company or organization, adcraftusa.com. OG sponsor Miles Communications, powering this podcast with wicked fast, high-speed internet, ensuring that our broadcast is crisp, clear, and consistent. Miles also offers residential and commercial television and telephone services to meet your communication demands. If they're not in your neck of the woods, they are on their way. More information found at milestelephone.com. Shout out to Lyondell Basell, also known as LYB, for sponsoring the Grow Clinton podcast. They are the global leader in global chemical industry, guided by the purpose of creating solutions for everyday sustainable living. One of the world's largest producers of polymers and a leader in polyolefin technologies, Lyondell gives back to the community, engaging neighbors in where they operate through volunteerism, charitable giving, partnerships with local organizations. Lyondell aims to strengthen communities by supporting education, sustainability, and safety initiatives. Lyondell Basell, solutions for a better tomorrow. Awesome folks out there at Lyondell, Jenny.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hoinkes,
Joe Hoinkes, he's a go-getter.
site manager.
Yeah.
Got a big turnaround coming up in June of
Oof.
26. We're looking at an influx of about 3,000 additional people to our community over a 3-month term. Usually it's about 2 months. but they're extending it because this year they're taking every nut and bolt of that plant apart, making sure it is tip-top shape.
It's cool. It's
Great
cool
show
to see
today,
how people-
Jenny.
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites this time of the year. They're on one of my favorites all the time. But this time of the year, I mean, how can you think about Christmas without thinking about the Salvation Army?
Right. The ringing of the Red Kettle
Yes.
bells out there at your grocery stores and anywhere there's a Red Kettle, you can find an exuberant and happy individual ringing that bell,
Yes.
raising money for a good cause. So we have Shannon Sharp,
No,
Susan Sharp. Shannon Sharp's a football player.
Football.
You don't resemble
close.
Shannon Sharp.
I tackle other things.
That's right. Susan Sharp.
Oh.
And we have Major Scott in the house from the Salvation Army. Susan, Major Scott, thank you so much for joining us. What can we expect this season from the Salvation Army 360 Life Center?
Well, I think you can expect what you've always expected from us, which is that we're out raising money so that we can help the most vulnerable in our community. So a lot of people don't realize that we raise money at the Red Kettles so that we can provide social service assistance. So whatever we raise in those kettles, that's what we can spend to help people on rent and utility assistance, and some of the off the beaten path requests we get, like for prescriptions or eyeglasses or tires or auto repairs. So we can do a lot of things for people, but we need people to give at that Red Kettle. So we're becoming more and more of a cashless society, but when you see those Red Kettles, even quarters add up when you're putting a quarter in every day or every time you see a Red Kettle. So it's helping us to help others.
Yeah. Major Scott, given what she just said about a cashless society, has the Salvation Army thought about how they're going to accept donations if there's not just coins or paper money?
Yeah, we accept donations in all ways that people want to give. In fact, we've made it even easier to give online. There's QR codes on most of our kettle signs, but anybody can go to a Salvation Army website, and right there, it's very easy to give. Just a couple of clicks, you got to put in the amount, how you want to give, PayPal, Venmo, through your credit card. It'll all go right to whatever zip code you put in there. So if you're from Clinton and and your zip code's here, all the money comes right back into the local area.
Very nice.
To be able to help people.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So even though you might go on some website that looks like it's national for the Salvation Army, everything is geared towards your zip code. So we make sure that money gets back to the local folks, just like Susan, to make sure they're helping the most people and doing the most good.
That's
So-
incredibly important.
You're saying that, okay, I'm going into the store and I might not have cash.
Mhm.
I mean, I can go up to the Red Kettle and there's going to be a QR code on that, and I can stand there, click, and then that's how I can
Yep.
give too.
Yep.
That's
Now, I
cool.
will say that we've just rolled out some new stickers, and I don't have mine yet, but
There it
Okay.
comes.
but if you want to give online, you come see me. I'll make sure
All
we get
right.
it done. But yeah, you can always just go to salvationarmy.org and you can get in the back door that way.
Right, right.
Yeah, so I got a quick question. The money that you raised, did I hear you correctly,
Yeah.
with the Red Kettle campaign, that is what you have to invest in those necessary services for the entire year?
Yes.
Okay.
So my salary, the overhead for the office, that's not coming out of those kettles. That's for direct client
Got it.
assistance. So that's why it's so important to give, because you're not paying for overhead. You're not paying to keep the lights on for us. You're directly helping people.
And there's such a need too. I mean, we've been in your facility on occasion, and it's so busy when we're in there. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's such an increase this year
There is.
in the need.
I think I told you last year, if I remember right, I think I had a 400% increase
Yeah.
in request for assistance. And I would say I've had at least, again, double, half of that this year. So essentially a 600% increase over just a couple of years. And I don't think I'm unique. I think this is what Salvation Armies are reporting.
Yeah, all across the area in the Midwest, we're seeing that kind of increase. Government shutdown, of course, brought more people to our doors, but just in general over the last few years, because of inflation, the cost of goods and services, and people might be having their hours cut back a little bit at the office, or are in their jobs and they're trying to do, these kind of gig work to help make sure they pay the rent and such. So people are making really hard choices. Do I put gas in my gas tank or do I go and buy food for my family? And so the giving to the Red Kettle helps folks like Susan invest in people's lives so that they're making better life choices. And you don't often realize it, but when she's able to help somebody locally here to stay in their house and pay their rent, that is a really good thing for the economy, right? And so those kind of investments may not seem like a lot, a dollar or two in that Red Kettle, but it adds up over the season, and it allows people like her to make really great investments in people's lives to help them stay in sustainable living situations.
So I know what I do.
What?
I very seldom have cash. If I do, my kid's jacket or my wife takes it out of my wallet. So when I go to the store and I see the Red Kettle, I think we all have this. You have that little nook inside your car where you store all your loose change.
Yep.
It just sits there. And I don't know what's in there. I mean, every once in a while, if I travel somewhere and they only accept coins for like parking meters and stuff, I tap into it. Or if it starts overflowing, of course, I want to know what's in there. But I just dump that into my palm of my hand and just put it in the Red Kettle. It's easy peasy.
Smart. And every bit helps,
It
right?
does.
I mean, every bit. I didn't realize how many services you provide. What is the difference between, I guess not the difference, but Salvation 360 Life Center? What does that mean?
Well, life centers, we're called service extension units, were once a larger Salvation Army church that likely couldn't financially sustain in that community. So we downsized. We're still in the community. We think it's important to stay, but we have a smaller footprint now. We don't have as much overhead. We're not paying as many salaries. So we still can offer valuable service. And I think the thing that makes us different than just any old service extension unit is that we have a spiritual component. So it's absolutely my privilege and delight to pray with people every day. Sometimes people come in and they have nothing, and I don't have anything to give them, but I can listen to them and I can pray with them. And you know what? That can make a total difference in someone's day. When you change your heart and your mind and your perspective, when you count your blessings and you realize I'm going to make it, I'm going to be okay, and that you have a higher power, a God that loves you, you can conquer the world.
Well,
So,
when you're having problems, and like you're saying, when you're blanked out,
Yeah.
you got no one to talk to.
yeah. And
Well, how much that means to somebody.
It does. And I read a statistic a couple of years ago that said that 40% of the people that turn to the Salvation Army over other social service agencies come to us because they're seeking hope. And that's sort of
like
part of our
that.
branding, our motto. You see hope all over the place with Salvation Army. And that's because we serve a God that loves people. And if we can't do anything else, we can share the love of Jesus.
Yeah. Well, especially with the holidays, it all becomes a little bit more difficult. I mean, I know when I went through basic training over the holidays, I was deployed over the holidays, and it just every time it gets to that point where it's like Thanksgiving comes around, you just feel a little bit more melancholy, especially when you don't have access to your family. So it's a great resource. Now, what is your partnership with the Clinton's Walmart? What is that like?
That's a great question. So we have angel trees out at Walmart. And so if you have a child or children, especially if you have plural children, you know how hard it can be to make sure everybody has something to open on Christmas. So we just love our partnership with Walmart because they make it possible for us to have trees, to put tags on the trees. They benefit because people are shopping in the store to fulfill that child's wish. And so anyone can go and take a tag off the tree, get some of the suggested items on the tag. Just take that tag and take it to customer service, and they'll put it in the back, and I'll come get it. And then we'll put a bag together for each child whose parents have signed them up. So,
How many tags do you typically have?
well, last year, if I'm remembering right, I think we served 185 kids. And I expect that to be over 200 this year. So if they just got 2 toys apiece, that's 400 toys. But I know that we collected almost 700 toys I'll say items. They were not all toys, but so I expect that the majors know there's standing room only when
Yeah.
we're dealing out Christmas gifts. That's my office is pretty small and it fills up fast, but so we expect that we'll have a bumper crop again this year. The Walmart shoppers have been so generous, and you know who buys a lot of those gifts on that tree is Walmart employees.
Yes.
Which amazes me. So we're just really thankful for that partnership, and we couldn't do it without them. So
Where are the trees located in Walmart?
right inside each entrance.
Okay.
Yep.
I had a friend who that was one year was the only gift he got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
it
that's
just-
important.
Well, and
Yeah.
every little bit makes a difference too. My wife and I, like Susan has alluded to, we've helped her out the last couple of years, being able to help get those bags set up for families, and every little bit helps. So even if you can't buy a big toy, even if you buy a box of crayons, she always makes sure locally here that kids get a coloring book, a book to read, educational kind of thing. So guess what you need with a coloring book? You need a box of crayons. So even if you could just afford the box of crayons,
Yeah.
that's going to make a difference in
Yeah.
a child's life.
Well, that's so true. Even with my own children, you go out and you spoil them on Christmas if you financially have the means to do it, and then they play with the lowest cost toy
That's
True.
right.
Always.
nonstop
The
while
box
the,
Or the
is-
box.
Oh,
while the
yeah.
big ticket item is sitting there in the corner untouched. You know,
Yep.
that always used to bug me. But I know I was the same way as a kid. You know, you fall in love with something and it becomes your go-to form of entertainment. That toy or
That's it. That's yours.
That's it. This is a very philanthropic community. I mean, we witnessed, from the YWCA and the Kiwanis used to do the Caring Tree. I don't know if they still do it, very similar. And then most recently, First Gateway Credit Union did their big shoe giveaway, which they're continuing to do, Credit Union Kicks.
Yeah.
So they're going to have another shoe drop coming up where they're buying every student not in the district, but in that particular school, specifically elementary, a new pair of shoes. And they're doing that because they did not want to highlight those children who were in need. They thought just to avoid that, we'll give them all a new pair of shoes. And they partnered with Shoe Sensation to do that. So it's amazing, especially this time of year. Everybody's, heart gets a little bit larger.
Yeah.
And they're willing to give a little bit more.
So, Major Scott, tell us about your role with Salvation Army.
Well, I'm the divisional commander. So my job is to oversee all Salvation Army operations in South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and Rock Island County, Illinois, to make the Quad Cities
Oh my goodness.
complete.
Wow.
But,
It's quite a
Yeah.
range.
Definitely.
It's a
Oh,
huge
yeah.
region.
yeah,
It
so I put a lot of miles on the car.
Yeah, we are so lucky to have them here. I mean, the timing, God's timing, I see
Yes.
it's divine.
So what is the relationship then with the resale store?
Yeah, so that's part of our adult rehabilitation center.
So that's in the
and
old
those kind of
former,
things, and
what was
then-
that, Office Max?
Office Max.
Office
Yeah,
Max, yep.
yeah. So some of that, and then are they talking about the store that's located in the building?
No, they're talking about the thrift store, which
Oh,
is
okay.
actually run out of the Davenport
Port-
core.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so that supports all kinds of Salvation Army services going around, and especially if somebody in this local area needs any kind of rehabilitation from addiction or such, then we get them down to Davenport to get into the Adult Rehabilitation Center to help them in their recovery.
So, what are the plans for Susan for Thanksgiving?
Well, I know that the Corps used to do Thanksgiving
Right.
baskets, and unfortunately, people still call and they think we do those.
Oh, okay.
And I've now been with the Salvation Army 4 years, and we don't do those. We're just we're not duplicating because information referral is doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
food.
sense.
So we just don't duplicate.
And you guys are in the
services.
same building.
We
correct?
are.
Yep. So
and-
Regan.
Yeah. And they do a phenomenal job, and I'm one person, so food distribution would be
Yeah.
really difficult for me.
That's good to get that information
Yeah.
out there. So
Yeah.
they go to information referral and
Yes.
assistance services. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Yeah.
they're in the former was the Benevolent Society
Right, yep.
building, right
First
along
Avenue.
Second Street or First Avenue.
Mhm.
And then you have access to two major resources in our community, information referral and assistance services. I sit on their board of directors. I know that Regan echoes your statements and saying that there's the need continues to grow and grow and grow.
Yes.
And, often I'll hear people go, well, why is the need so strong? And I'm like, you're one paycheck away from being
Right.
in need. I mean, I think we
Yes.
take for granted sometimes when we get paid on the 15th and the 30th or whatever it is, that it's easy decision to fill up your car with $50 worth of fuel when you know on the 15th you're going to get paid.
Right.
I've been in the situation like when the government shut down a long time ago, when I was still active duty, where I didn't get paid. And you're sitting there going, well, the mortgage lender does not care if I didn't get paid. The person I took the loan out for my car does not care if I don't get paid. So we all, sometimes people want to turn their heads to stuff like, or turn their noses up to stuff like that, but you are just one paycheck shy of finding yourself in a position where you got to make some seriously hard decisions.
And what a horrible feeling a lot
Yeah.
of times, especially when you have children, making those decisions. And just to know that there's an organization in Clinton, there are many, but an organization like the Salvation Army that'll, be there for you. To, at least you get a voice out there and let them know that you're struggling and there's somebody who cares about you.
Yeah, and you're bringing up a kind of a subject that a lot of people don't entirely grasp. A lot of the folks that Susan's serving here in Clinton, they can't think more than 24 hours ahead. I mean, you're bringing it up like, well, I get paid in 2 weeks, and a lot of us think in those kind of cycles, or we actually are putting money away for something. A lot of folks are so desperate, they don't know where their meals are coming from tomorrow. And so when they end up at the Salvation Army's doors, and she was talking a little bit about the emotional and spiritual care that she provides, she's helping people have a longer range view. Her case management style here is called Pathway of Hope. It's a goal-based kind of case management that she likes to step into people's lives with to help them set goals to get to sustainable living situations. So they don't need services like the Salvation Army as much, but we're always there to care for them. But it's really about the process of getting them to think a little bit long term, getting them into situations where they're not just thinking 24 or 48 hours ahead. They're starting to think, oh, where am I going to be in 6 months? Because they have hope for that. And so it's really a lot of folks who are giving to the Salvation Army, buying something for an angel tree. They're not just giving in a way to the Salvation Army to take care of people for the here and now, but you're really helping us invest in their lives, getting them that case management so they start to break that cycle of poverty in their minds, and so they can start to work their ways out of that. And Susan does a great job here locally helping people overcome those kind of barriers.
I think when you give to sometimes you think it's just a one-shot thing, that people need help one time. But what you're saying about is the continuing help that gets them out of that cycle is so important. And when you think about it, in our community, how many kids are in need, and I guess that if that doesn't strike a chord with you, then I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and like Major Scott said, it's not just our community, it's everywhere.
Right.
I mean, I travel all over this country going to conferences and continuing education, and I don't care where I am. There's always people in need in that community. And it's funny, Gallup, the large polling company out of Omaha that does the studies and stuff, they did a study on employee engagement. But it really bleeds into engagement of any type. And the 4 things that employees want in order to stay engaged at work is trust, compassion, stability, and hope. And those last 2 really fit within the security and the understanding that you're going to have a meal and you're going to have some money coming in to be able to support your family. So just like if you're working with a group of employees to keep them engaged in the work center, the same applies to being engaged in life.
It's true. And to think that the money that goes into the Red Kettles is going straight back into our own community, that feels good. So are you looking for bell ringers now?
I'm always looking for I'll look for bell ringers in July. So yes, always looking for bell ringers. I especially love it when groups step up, and I especially love it when someone throws down a challenge. So like I had Chiropractic Works last Friday, and they've done a little challenge to Gable Chiropractic to see if they can top their kettle. Now, Chiropractic Works raised $190 in their 2 hours, so here's the gauntlet thrown down to Gable Chiropractic.
If you just get every chiropractor in town to do that, you're set.
There you go.
You are set. And you also have coming up on the 13th of December, I believe 2 civic groups are battling it out.
Yes.
Rotary and Kiwanis.
Yes. Throwing it down.
But churches, I talked to the sheriff's department. We're going to see if we can get a sheriff versus police. I've put the word out. I'm going to publicly, call them out. I would love Scott Madison and Mayor Pruitt and Mayor Madison to do another ring off. They've done such a great job. The last few years have raised between 4 to 6% of my entire goal.
No way.
Yeah.
So I said, could we make it 10% this year? And so I'm just throwing the challenge out there to groups, churches, civic organizations.
That's great.
Let's do a ring off.
Well, if somebody wants to register to be a bell ringer, where do they go?
Registertoring.com. Type in
Ooh.
the zip code. Registertoring.com. Type in 52732. All of the available shifts, dates, and times will pop up, and you can just fill it in what you'd like.
What are the sites? I mean, how many sites do you have here in town where they?
So great question. So we're at Farm and Fleet, Walmart, Hy-Vee, and Jewel.
All right.
Very nice.
So
Got it
and
covered.
Farm and Fleet, you can ring inside.
What?
Yeah, right inside the vestibule.
Well, that would be the reason when Paul's was open, everybody.
Yeah. So Farm and Fleet is awesome to us, and
yeah.
Hy-Vee lets us inside the vestibule. It gets very cozy in there, though,
Yeah.
when you got a lot of people coming and going. But Hy-Vee will let us in the vestibule when it gets a little colder. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
but I think it's more fun to be outside and
Well, I don't know.
getting bundle up.
There are
make
some cold
your-
days. I partnered with Chris Streets on the radio for a couple. It was 1 year that I did the freezing for food in the box truck.
Yeah.
But we got to know those bell ringers pretty well sitting there.
Yep.
And I remember that first year, I was like, man, it is cold. When
Yeah.
you're not moving,
Yeah.
even you're sitting in an uninsulated box truck,
Yeah.
I mean, just puts it in perspective how cold it really is and how important it is for those people that don't have a place to go
That's a
to
great
have
thing
something
to
for
say.
warmth.
It
Yeah.
really is. I mean, that is to have that perspective of what it's like.
And
Yeah.
we like to take advantage of that for sympathy donations for our
Mm.
bell ringers.
Oh.
So, there you
Yeah.
go.
No, it's all good stuff.
Good deal.
So, Susan, not only are you doing your great work with the Salvation Army and overseeing the 360 Life Center, but in your free time, you're also a published author.
I am. And this just dropped September 25th. My newest book, Don't You Dare Stop Dreaming, A Midlife Guide to Rekindling Goals, Grit and Grace. I think it's the best thing I've ever written.
Wow.
There's actually, it's sort of a motivational journal. At the same time, it's a little pep talk for people in midlife. You don't really have to be in midlife,
I was just
though.
going to ask, can you be past
Yeah,
it?
you can be totally past it. But
Okay.
it's
Three-quarter
really-
life.
Yeah.
Three-quarter.
The idea behind the book
It's all a
is
mindset.
is that you're just not coasting to the rocking chair. Like, from a faith perspective, God is not done with you yet. You have more to give.
Mhm.
So it's like counting your blessings. It's taking stock of those dreams that you thought, oh, it's past. I'll never do that.
I never
I'll-"
understand that when people just
I know.
I
And they
get-
just give up.
I went to back to college in Iowa City when I was like 42, and I was in class, and I never really visited with the students too much, just to say hi sometimes. But a girl came over to me and sat next to me, and she said, "I have to ask you a question." I'm like, "Okay, what?" And she said, "What's it like now that it's done? That it's over?"
Oh,
That's so
42,
nihilistic.
man. I don't know. But I don't know. So yeah, it's a different. I mean,
Yeah.
you think differently when you're.
I had a call this morning with the VA, my medical provider,
Yes.
and they made a comment that really struck me. There was about my labs came back, and she said, well, we want to get this checked because at your age, and I was like, come again? She's like, at your age, and I'm like, oh, I'm 43.
know.
Yeah, getting there.
You know, and
But-
that's the thing. One of my kids' friends came over. I was in my 40s still, and I was shooting basketball hoops with him, and the girl said, "I think you ought to sit down. You might break your hip."
Yeah,
oh my
What?
goodness.
kids these
But
days.
so anyway, something like that. You take shots
Yeah.
like that, and then you're
Yeah.
starting. It gets in your head like maybe.
And,
you know?
and maybe your dream changes. I mean,
Right.
the ideas that we had in our teens and 20s look very different when you decide
For
to
sure.
revisit. You know,
Mhm.
you're revisiting it with wisdom and
Right.
tenacity. But it doesn't mean you can't modify that dream to.
True.
Okay, so maybe you won't be the next Madonna, or maybe you would. But maybe
I don't think anybody's aspiring. to
Ah,
that.
I've seen her
No.
recently.
No,
Nobody wants to-
don't do that.
Yeah, she didn't age well. God love her.
Well,
My mother, I talk to her every single morning when I go on my walk. I give her a jingle right around 6:15 to 6:30. She's East Coast, so she's an hour ahead, and before she goes off to the gym. But this morning we were talking about she's like so badly wants to get involved in something
yeah,
meaningful.
Sure.
She's always looking at these like wreaths across America
Yeah.
is this great program, and she identifies these, and she's like, I just want to get involved in something.
yes.
She's still looking, and we're trying to find something for her, but she doesn't want to go back to work. She's retired.
Right.
She doesn't want a part-time job. She just wants something that's fulfilling.
Yeah.
And that when she has the downtime that she does have. Now her and my stepdad stay extremely busy. My mom has this big social network that I never realized existed before she retired. Now I call her every day, and she's like, I'm going to lunch with so-and-so. I'm going to lunch with
Aw.
so-and-so. There was 12 people at lunch the other day.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at you, social butterfly.
My mom's like that too. I have to kind of schedule, get penciled in. And,
Yeah.
I told my sister, I think our mom's the popular girl. I
Yeah.
don't know. But she, found purpose. She started
Yeah.
taking ukulele lessons and things.
Perfect.
And that's what it sounds like.
Yes.
This book
Yeah.
is about.
Yeah, it's just the idea that you give your dream some elbow room.
Right.
You
Good
know?
idea. Yeah.
And
That you-
Susan, where can we buy said book?
Wherever books are sold. you may
Well, I will
find.
say, is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon.
Very
Nice.
good. I did a link. The book, I did put it in the show links. Yeah, check your show links. It's in there. It's an Amazon short code.
Yeah.
Takes you right to the book.
Yeah.
So it's great.
And I even mentioned Clara Booth in here.
Okay.
Because I like her story because she was daughter of the Booths.
Yep.
Mhm.
And she didn't have to carry the torch.
Right.
Mhm.
She married well. She's educated. She was beautiful. She didn't have to carry the torch.
She could have kicked right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she did.
Mm-hmm.
She did. And so I put her in here sort of a testimony that, you sometimes it's about showing up for other people, not just for yourself.
Yep, absolutely.
Good way to put it.
Major Scott, last 30 seconds of the podcast. What's your pitch? What do you guys need from us?
Well, this season, our national drive for Christmas is Give with Joy. And so we want everybody to know if you give to the Salvation Army, you're not only giving joy in your own self by blessing others, but you're going to be putting a lot of joy in people's lives by helping our local Salvation Army units serve people. So give with joy this season. Stop by a Red Kettle, volunteer, stop by an angel tree, and really give with joy and make a difference in people's lives.
Perfect. Angel trees are available at Walmart. Just walk in, find the tree, grab a ticket, go buy a gift in line with that young man or woman or child or whatever it is they're looking for. That's popular or what? Who knows? But I don't even know what kids want these days.
I don't.
Back when I was like my son's age, 14, I had a very clear understanding of what I wanted for Christmas.
Yes.
Like I had been planning for 11 months
Mhm.
and circling things in magazines. Now I ask him like, what do you want? I don't know. He's into stuff, but he doesn't really have like an idea of what he would like for Christmas.
Right.
So
I always tell my kids, well, they're grown and I'm old now, but when they were little, I would tell them, make a list and you could put your wildest dream on it or something small and reasonable. And so
Yeah.
they would get things like 6 packs of root beer
Yeah.
and bags of candy. And, it was nice to be able to do that. And it gets your mind a
Yeah.
little bit of a challenge and creativity to do that. But, I think it's great. I don't know how you could make this giving tree any easier. Actually,
Yeah.
than to take something and just take
You
it
can
right to.
even go to walmart.com and
Mhm.
do the online angel tree. You don't even have to go to the store.
Did everybody hear that?
Yeah. Very
You can
cool.
buy your gifts online. They get shipped directly
Oh.
to me at my office. We can add them to the
That's great.
stash of great stuff to give to kids.
Wow.
all right, Jenny, before we close out the show, I do just want to dedicate this episode to Reggie Reppert.
Reggie Reppert.
He passed away on Sunday morning. The father of Karen Fries, our longtime 30-plus year employee. Reggie is a stellar dude. He is a legend.
Mhm.
Went into the Navy as a young man and then got really involved in the city of Comanche, got really involved in still recognizing veterans till the day that he passed. Very good guy. We're sad to see him go. I
For
remember
sure.
the last couple of years that I went to the Memorial Day ceremony at Rose Hill. He physically at that point wasn't able to stand up and recite his poem that he did every single year.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, it's been tough for Karen, but
It
we're here to
has.
support her. But
96 years old though. Come on.
That's
and it
great.
was in. So, I mean, he was golfing. I think last year,
Last
right?
year,
He was out on the
golfing.
golf course, so he
And I
lived a
mean,
full life.
You think about someone who's 96. How many 96-year-olds can you pick out that's people still socially know them?
Yeah. Well, I know
You know?
46-year-olds that are just bumps on a line and don't do anything. So
True.
got no reason to complain at 46.
True. Well, he did a great job with his kids. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
All right,
love
everybody.
Karen.
Well, thank you again to our sponsors, Citizens First Bank, AdCraft Printwear and Sully Sports, Miles Communications, and Lyondell Basell, located right here in Clinton, Iowa. Without their support, we would not be able to bring you this podcast. As always, my name, Andy Sokolovich. Don't plan on changing it. It rolls right off the tongue. Always joined by Jenny Holm from Grow Clinton. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. Until I talk to you guys next time, stay classy, folks. See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on all your socials. Until next time, see ya.